Hello, today we'll be talking about classes and objects. And classes and objects is a very important part in object oriented programming of any language that supports object oriented programming. So, today we'll be talking about classes and objects. So, what are classes? Classes is a description of objects, property and behavior. क्लासेस जो होते हैं वो एक ब्लूप्रिंट होते हैं फॉर एन ऑब्जेक्ट फॉर इट्स field are the attributes and behavior are the methods. We'll talk about it further. uh, Creating a class is as good as creating a data type, and create a class is defining a category of data. तो जब आप क्लास बनाते हैं सो इट्स एन इक्विवेलेंट ऑफ क्रिएटिंग अ डेटा टाइप. जैसे इंट डेटा टाइप है वैसे ही एक क्लास भी जब आप डिफाइन करते हैं विद एट्रीब्यूट्स एंड मेथड्स it also acts kind of like a data type, because since classes have no physical memory, classes have no physical existence, it's just a template. The objects that are created on the basis of classes, those have memory, those have actual memory, those consume memories. Okay, so further we have a code for class. We'll see how a class is created and how the fields and attributes are created, the properties, what we call it, the properties of the class, and a method, how a method is created, which is also called as behavior of the class. Method is the behavior, property is the field. So here, public class car. Public class car, this is the definition that we need to understand, because public is a keyword that allows the class car to be accessed by any other class in the whole program. Car is the name of the class. Car is the name of the class that is defined, and class is a keyword that is used to define the classes. So further on, here are the attributes. These three are the attributes. These three are the field. These three are the variables that define the characteristics of data of an object. मतलब इन्हें देख के आपको पता चलेगा, since the brand is string, brand is taking the data type string, तो brand का नेम एक string में होगा. ब्रांड BMW हो सकता है, Porsche हो सकता है, Tesla हो सकता है, it can be anything. वैसे ही ब्रांड का जो मॉडल नेम है वो भी स्ट्रिंग लेगा, क्योंकि मॉडल का नाम भी इज ऑल्सो अल्फाबेटिक, सो वो भी लेगा स्ट्रिंग में. एंड स्ट्रिंग कलर, सिंस the color of the car is also alphabetic, obviously it will also take the string color. So these are the attributes, and these define the characteristics of data. मतलब किस तरीके का डेटा लेंगे. Now we are talking about methods. So what are methods? Methods are functions that define the actions or operations of an object can perform. So void display input. Since we have the access specifier void, this will return nothing. Return nothing. It will return no kind of data type. It will just return what's written. Okay. So system.out println color. Color. It will return color. It will return color space brand name, and it will also return model name. तो ये कलर रिटर्न करेगा, ये ब्रांड का नेम रिटर्न करेगा, एंड देन इट विल रिटर्न द मॉडल. Okay, so here was an exemplar code for a class. Now we'll go further on about objects. What are objects? Object is an instance of a class. It represents a specific entity with its own unique states and identity. Now, object is what fills the fields. मतलब जो ये fields थे public string में, brand model color, object उन्हें fill करेगा. ऑब्जेक्ट बताएगा कि ब्रांड का नाम BMW है या Porsche, BMW, Porsche, Toyota, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. ये बताएगा कि मॉडल का नाम फॉर्च्यूनर है, थार है, क्या है, और ये बताएगा कि जो कलर है जो कार का रेड है, ब्लैक है, क्या है. तो ऑब्जेक्ट इज एन इंस्टेंस ऑफ क्लास. ऑब्जेक्ट एक क्लास के ब्लूप्रिंट पे बनाया गया It's an instance of the class. It is made on the instance, which means it is formed on the blueprint. वो उसके नक्शे कदम पे चल रहा है. मतलब ऑब्जेक्ट क्लास के नक्शे कदम पे चल रहा है. जो क्लास डिफाइन करती है वैसे ही एक ऑब्जेक्ट डिफाइन होता है. ओके. So here is object actually consumes memory, which I was talking about before. ऑब्जेक्ट, क्योंकि ऑब्जेक्ट के पास अपने एक डेटा टाइप है, ऑब्जेक्ट के पास अपने फील्ड है, ऑब्जेक्ट के पास अपना डेटा है, वेरिएबल है, इसीलिए वो मेमोरी कंज्यूम करता है. वो प्रॉपर्टी वैल्यूज लेते हैं. मतलब प्रॉपर दे एक्चुअली होल्ड अ वैल्यू. नाउ एग्जांपल कोड फॉर ऑब्जेक्ट्स. नाउ हियर वी विल talk about the code for objects. So we are creating an object called car1, and this is the function that will help us access the car class, because we have defined the class name, and here we have defined the object name. Car1 is the object name. I'm sorry, I can't select it. There's a problem with my mouse. New car, new car, and the function. This is a function that will help us enter the data into the fields and the attributes. Now we are assigning the values to the objects one attributes. तो कार वन ब्रांड का नाम है टोयोटा, कार वन मॉडल का नाम है कैमरी, टोयोटा कैमरी, एंड कार वन कलर का कलर जो है वो है सिल्वर, तो टोयोटा कैमरी सिल्वर में है. सो दीज आर द एट्रीब्यूट्स code for the objects. This is the code that is required to fill an object. And to further explain this, I will now give you a short example of how to create a class in VS Code, and how to create an object in VS Code, and how to create a function that will return the values that we have entered in the object. Okay, so for further, we'll go to VS Code. तो oops के कॉन्सेप्ट में जो क्लासेस एंड ऑब्जेक्ट्स के बारे में हम पढ़ रहे थे, अब हम कोड लिख के देखेंगे कि हम कैसे क्लासेस क्रिएट करते हैं, कैसे हम उस क्लासेस के बेसिस पे ऑब्जेक्ट क्रिएट करते हैं. सो लेट मी जस्ट टाइप आउट दिस कोड. अब एक बात ध्यान रखिए, स्ट्रिंग जब डिफाइन करते हैं तो एस कैपिटल होता है तो एस कैपिटल होता है. ओके, नाउ वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द ब्रांड as we have, and the model. Okay, and the, what do we call it, color. Okay, color. So color, brand, model. Now these are the fields. These are the, what we call it, attributes of the class. Attributes or fields. Attributes and fields of the class. Now we are going to, I think the I think we should define the methods, the behaviors of the class. Now, void display info system dot out dot print ln. there's a minor mistake. Dot println, and we'll type out color plus brand plus model. Okay, and we'll get this. Now this is what we call the method or behavior. What we call it a behavior method. This is a method. Method is just a function inside the class. Function defined inside the class is known as method. Okay, good. There's a minor mistake. Maybe this will do some damage if you time that out. So now that we have created a class, we shall further go ahead and create an object. So how do you create an object? So to create an object, we'll need the same thing, the name of the class, which is car, okay, and name of the new object. So since this is my first car, I'll write my first car, okay, and the function that we have talked about, new car. This will give the Java compiler sense that now we are creating an object. Now we are creating an object. Now on the my first car, since you see, and now we'll write brand dot brand, and now we are filling in the data in the attributes of the class defined, basically the objects, and we can write anything. We can write Thar, okay, and my first car dot model model model. Actually, Thar is the model, Mahindra is the car. Mahindra Thar, and we'll talk about my first car dot what do we have to go color. So now we are talking about color. The color, usually Thars are black, so I would write black, obviously black. Okay, so here we have our first object. My first car is the first object, and now since we have to run this, we'll create class main. Okay, class main should be in capital N, since the new Java variants, the main has to be like on the top. Okay, class main, and public static void main string arguments. Okay, and now we are going to correct our indentation, which is at a tab 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 tab. And one other problem, please write class. Okay. So since this is how we create an object, this is how we define an object, this is how we define a class. Thank you.